So this video is about a parade, and you would think that this parade would be just, a regular parade, but no. Let me tell you what this parade is about. So this parade starts off, this is out of the Modesto. Fireworks, pepper spray, and arrest in Modesto as protesters clash at Straight Pride Parade rally. Or Straight Pride Rally is what they call it. Adam Echelman. So insults turned to violence on Saturday as participants in a national Straight Pride Coalition rally were met by a much larger number of LGBTQ, I believe they might have been counterprotesters, pro-choice counterprotesters in Modesto. So police estimated that the straight pride crowd at the 30-ish people and their opponents at 125 to 150. I believe this is the numbers of people. So it's the fourth consecutive year that straight pride demonstrators have assembled in front of the Planned Parenthood building on McHenry Avenue. And like last year, violence quickly ensued. Now, I'm just going to say, in my opinion, that I believe this is a mix of people who were for Roe versus Wade being overturned. These are people who possibly maybe far right Republicans, also maybe nationalist, a white nationalist, people who are about pro life, but on a far right scale. I think it's those type of groups that have assembled and started this. So it's also people who disagree with women having the right to choose whether they want to be go ahead with a full-term pregnancy, or if they have the right to choose what their body, or depending on the doctor or their situation, their health issue should be. They feel that women should not have the right to choose. That's what it's looking like, these groups that are coming out. And then you have the counter-protesters. So it's the fourth consecutive year that the straight pride demonstrators have assembled in front of the Planned Parenthood building on McHenry Avenue. And like last year, violence had quickly ensued. So at around 10:30 a.m. in the morning, a man visiting San Jose with a sign, "Jesus Saves from Hell," preached while a mass of people across the street with rainbow signs and the women's right banner chanted and jeered. So police officers quietly assembled the bikes as patrol cars cross McHenry Avenue. So I guess this is when everything was starting up. So the loudest thing of all was the Modesto window tint, which blasted bandana music and our banda music is what they call it, from its outside speakers. So we're neutral and we're just window tinters, the man said. Tony Manriquez. Okay, sorry for a mispronunciation, but one of the owners, after the counter-protester asked him to raise the music to drown out the preacher, as the chants got louder, Manriquez, he changed the song to "We Are the World," and 1985 it was a peace hit. And so the happy music didn't last, so a scuffle had ensued. This was none other than the Proud Boy, as a Proud Boy attempted to push Proud Boy group. They pushed past the police and said that a man who gave his name only as Richard, as he called himself or referred to himself, He said that he watched the violence as the straight pride supporter, but did not identify as a Proud Boy himself. So counter protesters started throwing water bottles in retaliation. A blast had went off, and a firework balloon from the street in red streaks. So Modesto police spokeswoman Sharon Bear could not confirm the order of events Saturday afternoon, but noted that the demonstrators were not part of the official straight pride rally because it it was planned for like around noontime. So Bear confirmed that a bush caught on fire, leading the police to call the event an unlawful gathering and clamp down on what was going on. So I guess that's when it started to present itself as being really chaotic in the scheme of all of this. So Bear said that a smoke bomb is what ignited the bush. So more than 25 police officers armed in tactical gear descended on the scene. So police fired pepper spray bullets into the rainbow-clad crowd of counter-protesters, reportedly injuring at least 2 people who were whisked away by volunteers. So police also used beanbag guns, which looked like orange shotguns. And so that's how you can tell they didn't have like bullets, but they had something that was like as if it were bullet projectiles. So 4 people were detained, but only 3 were arrested as of Saturday afternoon for failure to disperse, Bear said. So 2 were aligned with the initial straight pride rally, and 1 was a counter protester, she said, and none of the people arrested were local in this Stanislaus County. I don't know if I said that correctly. That's the name of their county, Stanislaus County. So those of you who know that county or live in that county. So they came at us with batons, they jabbed us, and they hit the crap out of us. So this was what one of the counter protesters who was hit with a pepper spray bullet said. So he declined to give his name. Volunteers had flushed their eyes with water, but he was still wheezing. So I guess the spray was really strong. So Modesto police, you can see here that actually happening in the still photos. So Modesto Police Department and Stanislaus County Sheriff Office presence grew as officers formed a line pushing counter protesters back. So behind them, the MPD Armadillo, a black SWAT style truck equipped with cameras, pulled up as the officers closed McHenry Avenue from Coolidge Avenue to East Orangeburg Avenue. And so I don't know if you can see this photo, but you can see a protester who got sprayed with some pepper spray, and they were probably struggling to breathe, and so they needed some kind of medical assistance, or someone to kind of help aid them through what they were experiencing at this particular event. And so this is going on like everywhere that you can think of, where they hold these different rallies or different demonstrations. So it has gotten a lot to the point to where it's very violent, because everybody is proving points of arguments that are political in these parades. They're not parades where you can just bring kids and family. These are like, it seems like they're more about the politics of Roe versus Wade, and then also people living their life as LGBTQ, and then people who feel like that they're Republican and they're not able to express themselves the way they feel. So it's a back and forth drama. So the straight pride supporters have moved behind the police line and were standing in the Wendy's parking lot. Nearby, one person was loaded into the ambulance. So it was not clear whether the individual was injured or fell ill. But as police pushed counter protesters toward Orangeburg, crowds started walking on to Five Star Inc., a used car dealership which polished trucks surrounding the building. So I feel like I'm not making any money because they messed everything up for us, said one employee who declined to provide his name. And so Naomi Bingham Walker and Odette Zapata came down to Sacramento on Saturday morning in a caravan with other friends who supported the LGBTQ movement and women's issues movement as well, along meshed together. So for Bingham Walker, a queer black woman showing up was about fighting against what she says is increased in the white supremacy and hatred in our country. Zapata chimed in as the police nearby continued to push counter protesters back. So we have two armies to go up against when we stand for our rights and stand out and speak up. So we have to deal with the cops attacking us, and we're about to get a second wave of right-wing extremists. So we're fearful of them attacking us as well. So despite the 90-degree heat, Zapata had a sweater to conceal the bulletproof vest that she was wearing. So you can probably see that person down below in the still photo that's coming up. So if they see you wearing it, they will automatically detain you, Zapata said. So I believe this may be her, possibly. So there's a sign here. This is Nancy R. from the Answer Coalition that calls out, so that's who this person is, during an impromptu march through Modesto streets after police dispersed the protesters gathered at Planned Parenthood office, McHenry Avenue in Modesto, California on Saturday, August 27, 2022. So this just happened yesterday. The protest began as a rally to oppose the schedule, and it goes on. It has more information down here, so I'm going to click on it. Straight Pride event. And so that's pretty much how that went. And so it goes on to say by 12:15 p.m., police had withdrawn. The counter-protesters relocated to Roosevelt Neighborhood Park. A few streets away, Richard was confronting the police. Remember me, he yelled. So he see what the repercussions were when they protected Antifa. And he said that to a few lingering officers. So he had driven to Solano County after seeing the advertisement for the Straight Pride event that included Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson and the Grand Marshal. So Peterson, a radio host known for his homophobic stance, did not attend that, and instead participated via Zoom, Richard said. So he didn't even want to come, because even he knew that it was probably going to get out of control. But Richard showed the flyer for the event, which called it a celebration of heterosexuality, masculinity, femininity, babies born and unborn. And so the Western civilization, our wonderful country, and Christianity. So you see what that whole origin is about for the Straight Pride rally event, and what it can also drum up in terms of chaos. McHenry Avenue was quiet by 1 p.m., but trash pieces, broken glass, unlighted illegal flaming balls, fireworks that were spent, pepper spray rounds, flashbang canisters still were lying about. So at Modesto Window Tint, Manriquez had closed the front entrance to the shop, and that's because the later it gets, then they feel like it might be even more chaotic when police maybe leave or disperse, that people will come back and continue to fight. I would believe. So at Modesto Window Tint, he closed the front entrance to the shop, but the business was still open. The music was off, he said, but only because the cops were right there. So I suppose they were not wanting to have a lot of activity. But you can see down below in the still photos, I don't know if you can see the same thing I'm watching. You can see um, defend abortion right. You can see the protesters. You can see what was going on, that they were toe to toe with deputies of Modesto police that tried to clear the area around Planned Parenthood office on McHenry Avenue during the opposition rally that began as the protest for the straight pride event. And so this was like, kicking up this weekend. So you can see still photos of the police, the sheriff, in riot gear, a video that shows police mobilizing and dispersing protesters at the Modesto. Police declared that it was an unlawful gathering and assembly after a small fight of Planned Parenthood office in Modesto, California, had broken out on Saturday, August 27, 2022. People gathered to protest the planned straight pride event. And so you could see it was pretty much a lot of melee going on here. So the video also shows the sheriff deputies and Modesto police engaged in protesters tried to clear the area around the Planned Parenthood office on McHenry Avenue during the opposition rally that began as the protest to the straight pride event in Modesto, California on Saturday, August 27, 2022. And so you can see a lot of clear photos that show the activity that was going on. So it was pretty lively that day, yesterday. So sheriff deputies tried to clear the area around the Planned Parenthood office on McHenry Avenue during the opposition rally that began as the protest to the straight pride event in Modesto, California on Saturday, August 27, 2022. So they had a heavy presence, and the protesters had a real heavy presence there too. So these are a lot of great still photos that pretty much sums it up. It shows you what was going on there, and there's a lot of comments in the feed, the feed of this. So this is what was going on. You can see, I'm just gonna pan up, you can see what was going on here. So that was the organizer Don Grundman and other members of the coalition that moved their event to the Coffee Road in Modesto, California on Saturday, August 27, 2022, because it created so much melee. And so, wow, this thing was really pretty heated. And so you can see where this is going. And I think you're going to see a lot of these little gatherings that are going to kick up in many places that are basically they're political events, that people are speaking out on how they feel about the new laws of the overturning of Roe versus Wade and Planned Parenthood. You have a left and a right on this. And so this seems like it's not going to be an end to it. It's going to be an ongoing thing, ongoing battle, that is, for this this type of issue. And so it's unfortunate, but I feel I'm not, I would put my feelings, and I guess I'm entitled to my opinion, but I feel like people should have the right to choose. And if they have health issues, they should also have a right to choose. That is my personal feelings. And if you have a lifestyle that you choose to lead, if that's your choice, then that's your choice. But you shouldn't impede on other people's choices of the lifestyle that they choose to live, as long as they're not hurting anyone, and they're not hurting you, and they're not hurting you personally. I would think that would be the case. But everybody has their feelings about how they approach issues. Apparently, it's just sad. I just think it's really sad that people feel like they have to police people in their life on how they should live, I feel like that is wrong. I don't think that people should be policed in that sense on how whom they should live with. I only thing I believe is that if it's if it's against the law with someone that is not old enough to consent, they're then you're going into a slippery slope. I think that is bad in my opinion. But there are some states that are allowing people to have child brides. You would think that these people would look at things like that. And then I saw an article that was saying that 13-year-olds make good mothers, or 14-year-olds, somewhere along the lines. And I said that those are teenagers, they're children. And so you're promoting teen pregnancy. And I feel like those pregnancies are not planned. I feel like something happened that wasn't supposed to happen, or there was a misinformation, a lack of education. And if it wasn't promiscuity, I would think if it wasn't rape, it might have been rape, or it could be incest. Those things I don't think are things that people should be cheering on or promoting. I would think people would look at those things closely and think, wait, we can't do this. This is not right. If you have grown women who are well into the adulthood and they have health issues that say that it may not be safe for them to carry the baby to full term. Maybe they can't even carry the baby to full term. So, those are some hot button topics. I know some people might be offended by it, but I'm looking at it, I feel like they're looking at people who maybe they use abortion as a way to get out of responsibility. I wouldn't be okaying people like that. I would think that they need education. First off, they may need counseling so that they won't have unplanned pregnancies that are just, where they're just having children, but they're not fit parents, or they're not even wanting to be a parent. They're just having kids. I just feel like that is such a hot button topic. And then who people are married to, if you have young people who know that they have a different lifestyle. And I feel like as long as they're not sexually trafficked, they're not abused, they're not abusing someone else, they just want to be married to who they want to be married to, because that's their lifestyle in terms of, as who they are. They're who they are as a person, and to take that away from them is wrong. That's my feelings. But somebody else may have differences of opinion, but I feel like people should learn to get along and try to learn other people's lives before they judge others. That's how I look at it. I guess that's the lighter version of. So I don't know. We will see how this develops. I think that what's going to happen is that there's going to be, more than likely, there's going to be more protest. I would believe there's going to be even more protests that are beyond this issue, because the way these laws are coming out, they seem like they're coming out overnight. But they said that the Roe versus Wade, for years they had been trying to overturn it. And so they have been trying to find ways to overturn it, and by them overturning it, they're trying to attack other people's rights. They're also trying to go after gay marriage, the rights of LGBTQ people. So that's the reason why those people are standing in support of women's rights as well. And um, I agree with that. I really do think that people should have a right to choose. But I know some people are going to hate me for saying this, but that's my feelings. So I'm willing to take the heat for that, because that's my feelings. I'm entitled to my opinion, just as they're entitled to their opinion, of course. But I just feel like these issues are not going to go away. I will say that that we're going to see a lot more happen in terms of this whole debate around Roe versus Wade, which I feel like these were snap judgment rulings, and I feel like they're like a gateway to attack all the other things that have to do with Democrats or left livelihood. Um, and it seems like a political game that they've kind of engaged in, to where now it's becoming vicious, and so they're attacking any and everyone in between that they can find an avenue to attack, and I think it's wrong. That's my true feeling. So, well, I will let this go and resume with another video when the time comes. I just think that this is not going to go away. We're going to see a lot more of this. And that's pretty much how the cookie crumbles, as they say. They say the cookie crumbles, but it is not going to go away no time soon. This is going to continue on. And sometimes it has to be like that in order to allow people to see that we're not going to take this, lying down. And so you have to stand out, and you have to say, we demand our rights, because taking away the rights of people to choose, I really do disagree with people doing that. And here you have situations where people that may be their lifeline. It could mean their life. And if it's already been said that this child's not going to survive, and if you don't do this X, Y, and Z, you won't survive in the process. So think about it. And you look at that, some of the places that I've been seeing recently, where here you have all these children, but they're not safe. People are not protecting the kids. The kids are here, they're not protecting them. You have all these kids that are in foster homes, foster facilities, kids that are abused, and you have all these people talking about pro-life, and here you have lives that are here that you're not protecting. So what about that? What about the lives of the people that you haven't been protecting? And then you want to bring new lives into the picture and do what? Do the same thing? Not protect, the lives once they're born. You're not protecting their lives. So you're not really about the pro-life as you say you are. So that's my feelings.